In my 45 years living with ADHD, I've learned some things that I think will help you. They were life changing for me. Hopefully, they're life changing for you as well. The first thing that I learned about ADHD is I just didn't know a lot about it. I thought I knew, but I didn't know anything about it until I actually got material on it and I started reading it and started understanding the language and the terms and the symptoms and everything like that. But I didn't know anything about it. I just knew it was on what was on TV, and so that doesn't really tell you the whole story because there's a lot more to it, and it's really a very complex thing. And so to understand that complex thing, you need a lot of information. And that information is just not like set in one place. You kind of have to go and research it and ask people and talk to people and things like that. And for me, I did kind of struggle with it. You think you know, but you don't really know until you have the information to say, oh, that's what it is, or oh, that's what this means when somebody says that. Another thing that I learned is that I need sticky notes around all the time. These things are great, easy to see because they're super bright. But the cool thing about these is you can use them to label whatever you want. And for me, that's super important because I just have a tendency to like lose things all of the time. And so if I put something inside a container and it's not clear, then this is the way that I tell what's inside that container. Anywhere I need to label something, I use a sticky note. Now, this is important for ADHD because of the fact that you're dealing with working memory. If you don't know what working memory is, it's the memory that when you first hear information and you try to hold it into your brain to understand that information, keep it there so that you remember it. That's the memory that you use for working memory. But as you get more information that comes in, then you run out of that working memory and now you forget things that you first heard the first time. And so to avoid that, you need to offload your working memory. And these things allow me to do that because now I don't have to hold that information in my head. I can just put them on a sticky note. And that is why it's really good to use these for labels. Because now when you go to look for something, when I have to go to look for something, I don't have to sit and think about, okay, what's in this, what's in that? Where did I put that again? I also use these for if I have to go to a grocery store and need a grocery list. I take one of these with me so I'm not in the grocery store having to figure out, okay, did I get everything? What did I need? Did I make sure that I have the list of everything, absolutely everything that I need? And something else I've learned is that I need to take breaks because with ADHD, you're dealing with some working memory deficit things. And so when I'm intensely studying something, trying to figure something out, there's only so much information I can take in before I get a headache or get this brain fog kind of thing going. And so at that point, I know that I need to take a break, but I don't want to get to that point. So instead of waiting until I get to that point to where it's just like I'm getting a headache, I'm getting frustrated, everything like that, what I do is I schedule in breaks. That way, 15 minutes, 30 minutes down the road after I start something, I know that, hey, I'm going to have a break at some point coming up here. And I use a timer to make sure I stay on task or knowing when that break is. For example, I have a visual timer. This is called a time timer. I use this, and this is what I use to make sure that I'm going to stay on the time that I want to before I take a break. It goes up to 60 minutes. So you see right now, there's no visual things right there. But as soon as you put it, turn the dial, then you can see visually that is all there. And then once you actually move time or time passes, you'll see that it actually goes down and you can see more like that. It's kind of reflecting off the light. So hope y'all can see that. And I found this out the hard way as I'm trying to really learn something and kept just, I can't get through it. I'm sitting there trying to concentrate on something. And then I realized at a point that, okay, I have this headache that I'm experiencing right now because I've just been doing it too long. And here's something else I've learned. I've learned that I need to actually trick myself into motivation sometimes because sometimes I'm just not motivated. I walk in, I see a big room or I see my whole home and I'm like, I need to organize that right now. And I'm just like, nah, I don't want to do that right now because there's just so much of it that I have to do and it's going to take a long time. So the way that I figure out to do that is I break everything down to where I can manage it and start that day and finish that day or get most of the way through it, then that makes things much easier and I'm much more motivated to do that. So that's one of the things I suggest to you is to break things down as much as you can to the point to where you feel comfortable about doing whatever task you're trying to do and then tackle it that way. Another thing that I learned is functional over style, at least for me, because I mean, I'm not the most stylish dude anyway, but I want to have an apartment or a home that's ADHD friendly for me that meets all of my needs because I need that help to get around and go throughout my day and make sure I get to places on time and accomplish everything I want to accomplish. And so I want to set my home up like that. So, for example, I have a lot of clear containers because I want to be able to look and see inside the container and know if that container is the one that I actually need. Or I also roll my towels instead of fold my towels because I like rolling them. It just makes it easier for me to pick up just one towel. And also, I just think it's much easier. Now, I know people might debate me on that and everything like that, but I think it's much easier for me. And so you need to figure out if you're trying to figure out what you want to do with your home, figure out what things you need to be functional, and then look at maybe what you want to put in there that's also stylish. Now, something else I've learned is that clutter can get to the point it's so out of control that you're just forced to declutter. I've been in that situation before to where I have my closet and my closet gets to the point to where it's so full, I have to go in and declutter it and I go in, I start pulling stuff that I think, oh, I'm not going to wear this anymore. Why do I still have this? And I start throwing stuff out and organizing stuff until I get it back to the state I think it should be. And so you get to that point, or I've gotten to that point to where it's like, okay, I have to do something at this point. I cannot put it off anymore because sometimes I procrastinate. Keep putting it off. And it gets to a point where it's like, okay, I have to do something about it at this point. And if you are wondering why this works, because with ADHD, you get to the point to where there's a deadline, to where it's urgent, to where it must be done. And you get super motivated to do it at that point. And so this works with just about anything when you have ADHD, whether it's a paper, clean out a closet, clean a room, whenever you reach that point to where it's urgent, you must do it. You will get motivated to do it. And sometimes you get to the point to where you're like, okay, I'm going to sit back, relax, wait till it's like utmost point to where it's super urgent. And then I know I'll be motivated to do it. And you get used to doing that. But the problem with that is sometimes you don't get to finish what you're super motivated to do because you just waited too long to actually do it. And something else I had to learn is that I lose stuff way too often. I put stuff down, I don't remember putting it there, and then when I want to find it later, I can't find it at all. And so I had to figure out some workarounds. One of the workarounds I did is I actually have a landing pad, a place by the door that I walk by all the time. So when I come into the door, I put my keys, my phone, my wallet there. Those are the three most common things, and I've lost them many, many times. So now I have a little basket right by the door. When I come in, I put them in there. I know automatically where they are every time. And if I see like they're not there and I'm sitting down somewhere and I know, okay, hey, they're not there, then I need to go find it and put it there so I know where it is when I get ready to leave or have to do something. Then I automatically know that that stuff is there. I also can use a tile tracker. Those things are really cool too because you can put them on something, and then when you are looking for something, you can just go on your phone or your computer and figure out where that thing is really easily. So things like this are super, super helpful because you're going to lose things. It's just a matter of the fact when you have ADHD, you're going to lose things more often. And the thing about it is you also have to deal with out of sight, out of mind, which is another way that you lose things, because once something is behind something or under something and you don't see it, even though you just put it there a few seconds ago, then you may not remember that it's there. And now you're at the point to where you lost it and you're looking around for it and taking up time when it's in the place you set it down just a few seconds ago. So you need to have some workarounds like these that will help you make sure you keep track of things. And something else I learned is that this thing right here, your phone can stop you from decluttering, stop you from organizing. I've been in that situation where I'm supposed to be doing all that and I'm sitting there looking at my phone like this, going through trying to see what people are doing, or just looking up a random thought. You get into the point to where you're thinking about one thing, you go down the ADHD rabbit hole where, yeah, I started here, but now I'm here, and now I'm like 5 degrees or 6 degrees of separation from the thing that actually started from, and I'm still on my phone and I have done nothing. Maybe have a little timer or something that reminds you, hey, you've got to actually declutter and organize, and don't doom scroll on your phone the whole time and get nothing done. Because I've done that. I know how that is. And it's really frustrating because after all that, you still have to organize. You still have to declutter whatever you were trying to do in the first place. Something else I've learned is that when I'm organizing or decluttering, I need a dopamine boost. Actually, need a dopamine boost all the time when you have ADHD, but especially when I'm decluttering and organizing. And the reason is it helps you to focus on that activity. It helps you to be more motivated to do that activity. And so you need that when you're doing something that's pretty boring. And so organizing, as much as I like organizing and decluttering, it is boring at times. And so one of the ways you can actually give yourself a dopamine boost, like what I do, is I gamify it. How many things can I get done within 5 minutes or 10 minutes, or even a minute, just go up and try to record as much as I can, and then try to beat my time the next time when I do it, try to do as many items the next time as I do it, just to make it like a game, to make it more just fun overall. If you have a friend that comes over, you can really gamify it. You can like compete against each other and everything like that. Or if you have kids and you're trying to get them to actually do this as well, they can compete against each other, try to figure out, okay, how many things can you declutter in a minute, and you do a timer for them. Now, another way that you can give yourself a dopamine boost is with a good playlist. That's why I have these headphones here, because if you're trying to do some type of organizing and decluttering, a playlist can make all the difference to motivate you. Put your music on, put your headphones on, and just start, moving and grooving to the music that you're doing and everything like that while you're doing your organizing and the clutter. It just makes it more fun. You can even take like dance breaks or whatever. I've done that as well too. Just like, hey, my song comes on. When your song comes on, you're gonna get up and dance or whatever, right? So the point is that it just makes it so you have a little extra motivation. So your brain starts pumping a little more dopamine out so that you can actually finish your organizing and decluttering. And something else I learned is to make sure that I make things easier on myself. And one of the ways that I do that is that I go around and do a daily declutter, like 5 minutes, 10 minutes. That helps so much because I'm not having to declutter my whole home just all at once. I can do it just a little bit at a time, and that saves me a lot of stress and frustration. I have set up different zones in my home to where I have a coffee station, or I have a workout station, or I have a station to where I have like, I have my popcorn bowl and all my stuff I need to make popcorn. I'm a popcorn kind of guy. And so I have that there too as well. But these are different things I do in my home that makes it just a more nice day because I'm not frustrated as much, or just lessens the frustration overall. Now, I do have another video that has some additional things I think you'll really enjoy. It's about ADHD organization tips for your home that I think are just truly genius. Just different kind of tips that I think you probably have not heard of before that will really help. So when that video comes up, go ahead and click that video.